the host of BSing with Y-Eagley-Y, a veteran-run podcast where real talk, music, and good vibes collide. We bring you comical relief with our open season episodes and interviews with bands across every genre, from rock to country to hip hop. Catch every episode on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Or visit us anytime at bswithy.com. I want to give a big shout out to Ed, the man behind Static Shift Radio, holding it down for rock artists and keeping the scene alive. Go show him some love and check out the website where you can find Static Shift Radio Station and upcoming events. Now, rolling with me as always, my co pilot on the mic, the one and only the Ferg. Big shout out to Disease, the producer, making sure everything sounds clean and tight. Today, we're joined by the incredible Gina Fritz, an artist known for her raw honesty, emotional depth, and fearless approach to mental health and storytelling. Her music hits hard, cuts deep, and connects with anyone who's ever battled their own mind. We're excited to dive into her journey, her creative fire, and the meaning behind the songs that resonate with so many. Gina Fritz, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Gina, welcome, and thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us today. We really appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Very happy to be
Now,
here.
before we talk about anything whatsoever, you just dropped a brand new single called Cycles.
I
Talk
did.
to talk to us about Cycles. Talk to us about the writing process and the production of that. Give us a little preview of that just real quick.
Absolutely. So, Cycles, I wrote, it was probably about a year ago now, but so happy that it came out today. Everybody go stream Cycles. I write with my producer. His name is Chris Paquette. He's from Rhode Island. We
Yeah,
have
we're going to talk about
oh,
him.
absolutely. We have such a good friendship. And honestly, whenever I go into the studio, I go in with like a little voice memo. So I write over YouTube beats. I'll go on, I'll look up like, Linkin Park type beat or Hailstorm type beat. And I'll write over
Oh
these
yeah.
beats. Afterwards, like once I write over them, I'll bring it into the studio. Chris literally pulls the entire beat and we will start from scratch and we'll go around my vocal. So for Cycles is basically about not knowing where my future is going to go. And I was in a pretty bad headspace at the time. And it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know what path I'm going to go down, but I know what path I want to go down. Like this is the road that I am choosing. About the industry. I mean, anyone that's in the music industry, it's very, very tough, especially as a
Yes.
female, very tough to kind of work your way into the industry. So yeah, it was kind of just me like talking about like I feel like I'm just repeating the same cycles over and over again. And am I going to get further? Am I going to stay in the same place? So I hope that people can resonate even if you're not in the music industry. I feel like the lyrics are very easily resonated with. So hopefully people
Absolutely.
listen and they like it.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Also, Gina, it was said that you were singing the moment you could talk,
Yeah.
and you'd written your first song when you were a teenager. Could you tell us a little about writing that?
Oh my God, that song was terrible. But but yeah, I wrote it. It was, I'm pretty sure the first one that I ever wrote, it was called White Walls, and it was for one of my first bands that I was ever in. But yeah, no, I definitely have done way better with the writing as I've gotten older. Obviously, as you get older, you go through many more things than, when you're a teenager. So I feel like I've taken that and I've really put it into my writing. And, especially growing up, I've listened to so many bands: Paramore, Hailstorm,
Oh,
Flyleaf,
yeah.
Yeah.
all such incredible artists. And I listen to them, I resonate with their songs, and I put my own sort of spin on it. And I feel like at this point, being in this for as long as I have, I've been doing this for probably over like 10 years. I feel like I've finally found my sound.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And also,
But yeah, that song was terrible. We're not.
Oh.
it also seems
But
that
you
you're
have to start
following.
somewhere, you know. You have to get your
And
feet off the ground, you
listen,
know.
exactly. You have to start somewhere. And, you know, when I was younger too, my parents always instilled music. We were always listening to music. My dad, especially, Blue Oyster Cult, Pink Floyd, you know, all like
Oh
the
yeah.
modern rock. So, yeah, I heavily owe it to my parents for just always having music around me.
Speaking of parents, your father's also a musician as well,
That he
correct?
is. Yeah, he is. So he plays the drums, and he played drums in like a band like a while back, and he never really did anything with it. I think he said, you know, like, I'm gonna have kids instead. So he kind of loves seeing what I do. He's always at every show. He's really big supporter of mine. Love my
That's awesome.
That's
parents. Yeah.
awesome. Gina, I was going to ask this question later in the interview, but since you brought up Chris Piquet, a lot of people may not know who he is. He's actually a younger. Uh, he's what, in his 30s or so. He's a young
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Yeah,
30s.
but he's worked already with some very big names. Like he's worked with John Feldman of Goldfinger. He's worked with the Vans Warped Tour, Blink 182, Sum 41, the band Atreyu, and I could go on naming them. But what I wanted to ask you, what tell us what it's like working with Chris. What does he bring to the table for artists such as yourself when you go into the production studio?
That's a loaded question because he's one of my best friends now. I met him probably about 10 years ago now when I went in with my first band. And like I said, the chemistry that we have is so good because as a collaborator, I just go in and it just happens. Like we're like, all right, we shoot out songs probably in like a day. But when I first met him, yeah, I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, he's worked with like all these really big people. And he makes an artist feel very comfortable when you're in the studio. He listens, he'll listen to my ideas. And even when I'm just singing a cappella, he's like, all right, get in there, lay it down in the studio. He is a mastermind at what he does. And when you listen to my songs, yes, I do have a live band behind me and they learn these songs, but when you're
Right.
hearing them, he plays the guitar, he plays the drum pad, and then we bring a drummer in. He makes everything. So he is just incredible. You know, I could blow
Heck
smoke
yeah.
up his ass all day, but I don't know if I can swear, but yeah, no, he's
And that's
incredible.
fine because one of the things we do on the show, we like to have our artists brag on their bandmates a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, that's totally great.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, if anyone watching this interview, you know, if you're in like the Rhode Island area, Connecticut, New York, around there, definitely look up Chris Piquet because he is incredible at what he does. Incredible. And he has like a very cool studio. So if you don't live close by, it's like a little like home away from home. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but like there's like a little kitchenette area. It's like, so if bands are traveling in, you can stay there for that studio time, which is so sick.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So, Gina, you're doing a solo. You've also done duos with Keyed Up, and it consists of yourself and Whitney Payton. How did you meet Whitney, and what's the writing process as a duo?
So I met Whitney going back in 2018. I want to say it was kind of like an R&B type project. Not really my sound, but like I said, I was trying to find my sound at that point. But we went on a tour with Whitney and we were the only girls on that tour. So we really clicked and we were talking every day and we had exchanged numbers. And after that tour had ended, it was maybe like 3 months, I want to say, afterwards, the band that I was in, that R&B project, kind of came apart, writing differences. And so Whitney had seen that and she called me. It was like a random like Tuesday that she called. I think I had to go to work and I was like, you know what, I'll go into work a little bit late. Let me take this call real quick. And she was like, yeah, I really want to do like this project with, some girls. And honestly, I had thought that there were going to be other girls involved. So I'm like, oh, like kind of sounds like the Spice Girls type thing, So I'm like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And then when I found out it was just me and her, I was like, whoa, like I was honored, because I'm like, Whitney has toured and she has been in this for so long. She's toured with so many big names, and for her to, see my talent and be like, I want to be in a group with her, just felt very, very grateful for that opportunity.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, no, she's incredible. And yeah, we put out a couple songs now. I mean, we dropped songs a while ago, but the newer ones are more rock based, and we actually do go to Chris for those as well. She flies out here, we go to Rhode Island and record. But when we're not together, the writing process is, again, I go on, look up some YouTube beats, write over them. I'll send her my ideas. So we'll go back and forth. We have like a folder that we share, and we'll go through and we'll be like, oh, we kind of like that chorus. But honestly, the ones that we just wrote, we kind of had the choruses like ready to go, but a lot of the verses and a lot of like the things that you're hearing, like ad libs and background stuff, we do that right in the studio, and we bounce ideas off of one another. And it's so cool to like watch Whitney write, because she'll sit there and like, me, I'm the type of writer that I need to have something like before I go into the studio, because I overthink and I'm like, does this sound good? Like, so I'll have it like prepared, where she'll go in sometimes and just spit out lines, complete fire. Wow. And I'm just like, and I'm just sitting there like in amazement, just watching her. I'm like, she's so good. She's so talented. And yeah, very, very blessed and honored to be in a group with her.
And that's kind of validation when you have an artist reach out to you like that. That's validation that you're on the right track in doing what you're doing. I've experienced a little bit of that in what I'm doing here. And it's an amazing feeling when someone else recognizes that. And so I didn't even write this in my interview notes, but you touched on something, so I'm going to bring it up. There seems right now, at least in my estimation from what I've seen, a rise in female-led bands, especially in rock and roll and heavy metal, whereas for years and years you saw it in pop music, and so it's not really a novelty. And I know we've had great artists in the past in rock and roll that we all loved, like Joan Jett, Janis Joplin, Lita Ford. I can name on and on, Vixen, so many bands. And then, of course, Amy Lee with Evanescence and, Hailstorm, Maria Brink. There's on and on and on, but I'm still seeing a rise of this. But while we're seeing a rise of this, so many artists like yourself say the same thing you just said. Even though we're seeing this rise of female-led bands and their male band members, counterparts, fully embrace what they're doing, it's still really, really tough for you girls right now. Why do you think, even though we're having this rise, why do you think it's still so tough for our female artists getting to that place that you guys are trying to reach? What's going on in the industry?
I think it's just one of those things where people don't believe that we can actually do it. I think it's like we have to just prove ourselves tenfold, like I have to get up there, and like when people see me sound checking, they're like, oh, how cute. Like, it's just you up there. I literally had a sound guy when I was sound checking go, oh, it's just you, just all by your, little self. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, it does still happen. I mean, it's definitely gotten a lot better. And I feel like bands, such as like Deadlands, Stitched Up Heart, Butcher Babies, who I did a song with, very grateful for that. They are heavily leading, the pact, and it's gotten a lot better for sure, but it definitely is. It definitely is still hard. I mean, we have to like prove ourselves on the daily. I have to constantly be on social media, constantly pushing, and it is what it is. But hopefully, at some point it'll get a little easier. And I feel like people looking up to my music, hopefully girls feel like, yeah, I'm going to go down that path. I can do it. If she's doing it, I can do it. I saw bands, like Paramore, Stitched Up Heart, Flyleaf. I'm like, if they can do it, I can fucking do this too. Why not?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
So
it's
we're
like
going to
we're all
promote
leading
your
each other.
music.
yeah, for the
We
sound guy.
at Static Shift and here on Robert's podcast, we're going to promote you, and we've got several female bands part of
Yeah.
Static Shift, female-led bands, and we're
Oh,
fully
yeah.
behind promoting your music because you're putting out a great product. It still gets me that when we're seeing this rise and we're in this modern world that there's still being, let me stay PG on there's still being buttholes about it.
Well, see, it's when you have
Oh
sound
yeah.
guy, when you have that sound guy that said comments like that, that's when we would get rid of them and we just stick disease in the soundboard.
Nah, see
Hey,
that's when I go up there and like I do a little run for my sound check. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna go in now. Like it almost like gives you like more momentum to go up there and just
Yeah,
like
prove them
kick ass
wrong,
when
huh?
you're up there. Exactly.
Yes.
Like especially like when I perform, like I don't stay on the stage. I love going off the stage and like kind of just off the script. So like I was playing Mohegan Sun the other night, which is a casino in Connecticut, and I just went off the stage and all the security were kind of looking like, is she okay? Like what is she doing? Because like most people, they stay on the stage. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna like run around. I like ran through the crowd. I like poked somebody on the head.
heck yeah,
Yeah. I have a good time.
heck yeah.
When I'm up there, I want people when I'm off the stage to go, I didn't know who that artist was, but now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look her up.
So,
Absolutely, I love that.
Yeah.
so Gina, in 2016, you had the opportunity to tour and share the stage with Hawthorne Heights, Set It Off, and We the Kings, and a couple others. How did that feel?
That was awesome. I mean, that was when I was first kind of like stepping my feet into it, so to speak. And it felt awesome. I mean, to even like be able to be on a bill with bands like that. I mean, and since then, like it's only gone up, which is like so cool. It like shows that, obviously I've been working hard and I've been trying my best, and it's always awesome to be on a bill with bands like that, because also then you get to be in front of their fans and hopefully
Right.
steal their fans
Yeah.
and be like, listen to my stuff too. And yeah, it's always such a good feeling when especially the show that I just played with Echo, we were up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was an overwhelming feeling because so many people were coming over to me. And honestly, I go into shows opening for larger artists like that, not expecting really much, like expecting maybe like one or two people come over and be like, you were, really good. But it was an overwhelming sense of just love in Massachusetts. And if you guys are watching this and you guys were at the
Heck yeah.
Cambridge show, you guys showed me so much love, and I loved every second of that show. So yeah, I mean, since that show, it's just been like a steady climb and it's felt awesome. And, I feel like my fan base has grown, and everyone that listens to me, I love you guys so, so much. And you already know that. I already tell you on a daily basis how much I love you guys.
You toured with Escape the Fate in
Uh,
2024. Talk about that tour.
oh my God. Okay. So first of all, when I got that phone call, I was at the gym. You know how like some things you just never forget? So like I
Yes.
remember exactly where I was when I got that phone call. I was at the gym, I was on the elliptical, I was doing my thing, and I saw their manager calling me, who I'm friends with. His name is Zach Yosh. He is incredible. Love him. And I was like, what's he doing calling me? Let me answer real quick. And I stopped my workout immediately when he was like, are you free these dates? I'm like, absolutely. And
Whoa.
my brother was in the gym with me, and I ran over to his machine. I'm like, you'll never believe this. Like everyone in the gym was just looking at me like, who is this crazy person running from machine to machine? But it was so cool. I was like, yeah, we gotta go home right now. I 15 minutes on the elliptical, that's it. We gotta go. Wrap it up. But yeah, no, that was so cool. And for them to even like accept us to go on there with them, like insane. Those guys are the nicest guys, and it's always cool to like meet, because I've listened to Escape the Fate since I was younger.
Right.
So to be able to meet them and have them be as nice as they were to us and just so accepting of us, it was so cool, because you always want to meet like your idols and like have them be nice. Like it's always like that little fear of like, oh my God, like, are they going to be cool in person? Are
Right.
they going to be, and they are as sweet as pie. They are the nicest dudes. And that was the coolest tour that I have been on, like, thus far. It was awesome.
So,
Heck yeah,
Gina,
that's freaking awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely amazing. You did mention your brother there, so you've also co-written songs with Anthony. How's that go? And are there any sibling rivalry?
No sibling
Ooh.
rivalry. Like I said, like we grew up in a very music loving household. So my brother is such a great writer, and he has a cover on Spotify too. If you look him up, Anthony Fritz. I believe it's like an EDM type cover that he collabed with someone on, but
Okay.
he is such a great collaborator. Obviously, he's my brother, so we work really well together. He helped me write a couple of the songs. If you hear Cashin' In, he helped me write that. Stay Away, he helped me write that one.
Yes.
So we kind of like bounce ideas off of each other, kind of like how me and Chris collaborate with one another. But yeah, Anthony is very, very talented. He got chops on him too, so definitely search up Anthony, because he has some covers. I believe he has some on his Instagram too. But yeah, he's awesome, very talented.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck
Going
yeah.
back to your going back to your work with Whitney, the first single you guys worked on was Remedy. Is that correct?
So
But you
Remedy
weren't
is actually
you
one of
yeah,
my songs. So the one that
yeah.
we did,
Okay.
the first one that me and her worked on together, it was a song called Big. And
Oh,
it
okay.
was actually a song that she had done, like, I think she had written like most of the verses, and then she brought it to me and she was like, she's like, I think this might be cool, like, for you and I, like. And I was like, all right, let me try to like work on it. And I was actually substitute teaching at the time. So when she sent it to me, I was like teaching like kids, and I was like, all right, guys, do like your work. I'll put it up on the board. And I was writing the verses. Like I had like my earplugs in, like just like writing it down. And I sent it to her, and she
Wow.
was like, this is so dope, because she lives out in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm from Connecticut. So completely opposite directions. So, like I said, we send stuff back and forth. So we wrote Big, and I flew out there to record it with her producer, Felix. And it came out sick. And I was very nervous, because that being our first single together, I'm like, I don't know how her fans are going to like me, if they're going to, be like, oh, Whitney, you should have stayed solo. Why are you doing a project with this girl that we haven't heard of? But the response was so good, and it just made me feel really, really nice. They welcomed me with open arms, and her fans have now become my fans, and they'll come to my shows, and especially the ones that live on the East Coast. Like I've seen them pretty much at every single show that I've done. Like they're always right up in the front. So they have shown
Heck
me
yeah.
so much love. And yeah, go search Big, keyed up. Our sound has changed since then. That was more of like, because she met me through the R&B project. So it was more of like the R&B, like I was like rapping in some parts, but
Okay.
now it's more of like the rock based. It like fits with both of our genres.
Right. And some of the rock rap based stuff that you guys have done is real reminiscent of like Linkin Park and Falling in Reverse, and a good vibe on that, you know.
Yeah, it's so cool, because like she has obviously different inspirations than what I do. So I kind of bring the Linkin Park vibe in, and she'll bring like the MGK vibe in. And like together it sounds so good. And honestly, at first, we were both nervous. We were like, is this going to work? But it works, and it sounds so good. And she's one of my best friends, so to be able to collaborate with one of my best friends is so cool. And to put out music together is just awesome.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so
100%.
Gina, how's it make you feel when some people have compared you to Haley Williams?
Insane. Like there's like no words for that because like I said when I was younger, like one of my first shows that I ever went to, it was Paramore, and I think it was like, oh my god, it had to have been like 2007, 2008. So like going back a really long time ago, but like I love Haley. Like she is just a powerhouse. Like the new stuff that she's doing now, insane. But I grew up on like that older like sound of Paramore, you know, Brand New Eyes, Misery Business, Crush,
Yeah.
Crush, Crush, like
Yep.
all of those just like really iconic songs, you know, that we all grew up to. So to hear people coming over to me being like, your sound really reminds me of Paramore. And a lot of people are like, I'm sure you get this and I'm really sorry. And I'm like, no, don't be sorry because that is such a huge compliment. And anyone that says that, thank you very, very much. But yeah, no, she's the queen. I can't even touch her because she is just incredible. But yeah, every time I hear that, very, very grateful for the compliment.
Always take that compliment too, because something I say all the time when I'm reviewing artists, like, hey, we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, and so I don't ever see it as like copying a sound or ripping off a sound or a riff or a beat. I see it as we're building on this amazing foundation that's been laid to continue to build something awesome. And so always take
Excuse
that
me.
compliment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like we're never like trying to like copy an artist by any means. I like I said in the
No.
beginning of the interview, like I feel like I found my sound at this point and you know, I take from a bunch of different I listen to pop, I listen to Tate McRae, I listen to Paramore, Flyleaf, you know, Zara Larson is amazing. So I take a lot of different inspirations and I try to you know mix it in with my sound so it's not just like you know a carbon copy of something else like that's why I love working with Chris too, you know, bringing it back to him because he really helped me zone in on what my sound is. And I just had a conversation with him the other day and we were talking about the same exact thing and he was like, you know, I think you really found your sound at this point. I'm like, you know,
Heck
I think
yeah.
you're right.
Well, I don't want to sound like we're bouncing around, Gina, but coming back to sounds, um, Ferg mentioned Remedy, and
Hmm.
you know, listening to the song, it dives into the pain staying in a bad relationship, the conflict between love and attachment, difficulty walking away. Excuse me, even when you know you should walk away. What I love about the song, it's not just about the heartbreak. It's about finding one's strength and leaving. You know, you don't have to wait for somebody's approval or expect anyone's approval. You know, so
Right.
um, that's one of the things that I got from that song that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, honestly, I think like we've all been there. We've all been in like a pretty toxic relationship. And, you know, it was a situation for me where I was like, I was very attached to this person and, you know, I didn't want to leave. But at the same time, it was better for my mental if I did leave. And I feel like if I stayed in that situation, I probably would have been like a completely different person. I don't know if I even would have met Whitney, you know, because of just like everything that spiraled after the fact. But yeah, I think a lot of people can relate because I feel like a lot of people, you know, either you are in a toxic relationship or, you know, you were in a toxic relationship and you just don't know how to navigate because you're like, well, I really love this person, but at the same time, I know that they're not good for me. So,
Right.
you know,
Absolutely.
but they're trying to keep me because they know that, you know, without having someone in their life, you know, it might not be good for their mental, you know, they want to attach onto something just to have someone, you know. But at the end of the day, we cannot be anyone's remedy. We have to treat ourselves with care, and we have to treat our mentals with care. And if that means walking away from a harmful situation, whether physical, mental, you have to be able to muster it up in yourself to walk away. So that's what that song is about. And I think a lot of people can relate.
Absolutely.
I love the lyrics on that one when you say this was so creative. You said, "How's your soul so cold like this when I could light a match with your fingertips?" Now that's some songwriting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. No, it's one of those things where it's like you feel really good when you're in that situation. But from the outsider's perspective, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing in that situation? You know that you shouldn't be in it. But yeah, when you're in it, it feels really good. You know, it feels like that flame is like, you know, there. But is the flame really there? Probably not.
Right, right. Let's talk about your song Chemicals. That is an explosive rocker, and there's some great guitar riffs, some heavy drums in that. But you described that song as being a little bit of struggling with your inner self, kind of wondering what the future holds and so forth. What was the mentality during the songwriting process during that one? Is it similar to Remedy and so forth? And whose idea was it? Was it Chris? Whose idea was it for that super cool hollow effect in the middle of the song there?
Oh yeah, that was Chris. That was Chris. He was like, I think that we should do this. I'm like, you know what? That sounds awesome. Let's do it. We did it like a couple different ways, but yeah, no, that it sounds so cool. I was like, just like put me all the way down. Like, and it's just because you don't know what's coming, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's really cool. But yeah, I guess Chemicals is like also a take on cycles, like the same, like just mentality of, you know, what am I doing with my life, you know, and just fighting with my brain and just being like, what am I doing? Am I just doing the same thing? Like I want to reach, I say in the song, like I want to reach like something further. I can't remember the exact words right now, but you know, tell me why my dreams turn to nightmares. Like
Right.
I have like these visions of it not working out, and it's just a constant battle daily. I mean, with my brain and with the chemicals in my brain, like what am I doing with my life? Like, should I still be doing this? Should I be doing something else? I'm seeing everyone else move on with their lives. You know, a lot of my friends have families. A lot of my friends, you know, chose the 9 to 5, but here I am choosing this, a very difficult path. So
We're trying to break out of that 9 to 5 here.
That's right.
Aren't we, Rob?
So a lot of my songs, you know, do talk about like the struggle, the inner battle with myself, with my brain.
Sure.
Some of my songs do talk about relationships, but songs like Chemicals, songs like Cycles, Disassociate, which so many people have latched onto that one, and I'm very, very happy that they have, because that song too is just about the constant struggle that a lot of people go through on a daily basis of, you know, I'm really just fed up with life at this point, and like, what do I do? I'm just stuck. I feel like I'm stuck.
That's
so
one of my favorites.
Thank you. Disassociate.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Rob wrote up a whole piece on that.
Oh, yes.
I broke down your lyrics, right? So I was like, you know, we would not have the time, but I did type up some stuff that touches on the lyrics.
The amount of people that have reached out to me on TikTok and just social media in general that have shared their stories with me and have said how much Disassociate has, you know, impacted them, and how much, you know, they listen to it. And it's a cool thing with social media now, because you can see people on TikTok using your sound. So when I go into it and I see, you know, so many people using it and so many people knowing the words and relating to it, it is such a cool feeling, because it's like, oh, like I'm not the only one that feels this way. Like there are other people that can relate to this feeling of just like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I feel like we all like disassociate with
Right.
reality sometimes. Like, you know, it's a feeling that we all can relate to. And it's just very cool to see how many people it has hit and how many people are, you know, directly DMing me, telling me how it has helped them. And it's just really, really cool how music can do that. And social media too, that social media can do that. It can hit so
Absolutely.
many people.
Well, I'll tell you, Gina, I'll touch on it, and I'm gonna let you know, audience. Gina does a far better, you know, coverage of her lyrics.
Thank you.
But so the opening lines, you know, I'm not gonna do the whole spiel because of the time, but the opening lines catch you just enough, and that's sta- sta-
Let's
staring
go.
at the ground. My feet are on the edge. I think my body's giving up. My heart is racing. I feel my balance is shifting. Please let me stop. Let me stop overthinking. I don't want to feel no more. I don't want to know this pain. I don't want to feel no more. Some things I could erase. Pull me out of this misery. You know, those lines alone, you know, just the imagery suggests you feel like you're at a breaking point emotionally, mentally, and physically. And I think that's
Yeah.
what your audience and, you know, everyone that listens to the song, they can relate to this. And they, you know, also reflecting on the exhaustion, the feeling of disconnected, you
Yeah.
know, and someone that would listen to this song, I can definitely see why they would reach out to you, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. When I was writing it, it was kind of like just one of those feelings of like, all right, how can I like put this thought into words and like have people actually see what I'm feeling? And I'm like, standing on a building, like that's like the best like way to like portray how you can feel like when you're disassociating. Just you're standing on a building, looking down at the ground, being like, do I jump? Do I do it? So I'm like, that's what I have to start this song with. Like, I want people to feel like they are in those shoes and, you know, facing what they don't want to face.
You talk about a minute ago the DMs that you're getting and some of the messages. Thank God for social media allowing you to connect with fans and so forth. What are the reactions you're getting after shows in your live performances? And do you feel like it's impacting some of the young ladies of this generation?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like, especially going back to the show that I just played in Cambridge, I had this like, oh, I get like emotional thinking about it, but I had this little girl with her mom like come up and like she made me a bracelet and she was like,
Oh,
the mom was like, my daughter loves you so much. And her daughter must have been like maybe like 4, 5 years old. And, you know, it's so cool to like see younger generations coming out and like knowing the words to some of my songs. And it's just, I feel honored because that little girl was me when I was going to see, you know, like Paramore, and like that was
mhm.
me. I'm like, that was me. Like I was going like, you know, I had a meet and greet at one point with Paramore and I brought her flowers and like
Oh,
here's, you know,
wow.
yeah, yeah, I did. And here's
Wow.
like someone was waiting out in line with flowers to give to me. And it's like, oh my God, like I really am like, you know, hitting this other generation like that's underneath, like that's listening to these songs. And, you know, whether it be their parents, you know, helping them find it or them finding it on social media, it's like they're resonating with it. And I just think that's the coolest feeling. I mean, as an artist, I feel like that's what you want. Like that's one of the goals is to,
Yes.
you know, be able to hit another generation and to have them really resonate with your songs. So at that show in Cambridge, there were so many, you know, younger kids with their parents there coming over. Same at the Escape the Fate shows. A lot of younger ones coming over and their parents being like, you know, they listen to you so much. And I brought up a girl on stage with me. Actually, she knew all the words to
Oh,
Miracle,
that's
which was
awesome. That's
so
awesome.
cool. Yeah, it's an honor every single time that happens, because it's like, oh my God, like that was me. Like that little girl was me. So that's so cool.
And now you're paying it forward.
Yeah, which I never thought that I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously when I first started writing songs, I'm like, "Oh my God, my songs are shit. They're not going anywhere." But like obviously as I kept going, I'm like, "Oh my God, you know, like I could really like help other people by sharing my stories." And as an artist, you tap into your most vulnerable place. So for me, writing songs and like going into Chris's is like a form of therapy. I'm like, Chris, you're gonna hear all my problems right now. Real sorry, but it helps. And for me to be able to tell my stories, it helps people that might not want to be able to share their stories, but just listen.
Hearing you say all that and talking about everything we've talked about so far, it's pretty amazing that you're able to pay it forward, especially when you're citing some of your heroes like Paramore. And I know one of your heroes is Flyleaf. You did an amazing cover of their song "All Around Me," and recently I watched Lacey's testimony video of how when she was young and struggling with some inner demons and things like that, and a word that they don't like you to say live on YouTube, but she struggled with a lot of things like that and shared. And now you're in a place with taking the influences of your idols. You're able to do that exact same thing and put forth not only the message of what you're going through, but maybe with the music put something positive on that as well. And as I said, pay it forward. And so I really appreciate that. And I think it's amazing that you're able to do that and that you're having that type of fan reaction because it's needed. It's needed. Music is something that unites all of us in a way that so many other things can't do. And so, with that, I guess I took a roundabout way of saying that I really appreciate what you're doing there. And talk to me about being able to cover that amazing song by Flyleaf. You guys cut an amazing video to it. You seem like you're channeling all of Lacey's energy and the band, like, and you even threw in something that they didn't throw in. You kind of threw a rap beat in the backdrop on that one, but made it refreshing and new. And it seems like you just brought total energy to that.
Thank you so much. I mean, when I was doing that, I didn't want to copy and paste it. So I was like, we have to like, you know, do a new instrumental. Like we didn't take anything from the old one except for obviously the melodies, the lyrics, but the instrumental is, you know, completely like redone. But yeah, when I put that out, I wasn't expecting much because I'm like, well, it's a cover. A lot of people have already heard this song. And Lacey shared it. And I was like floored. I remember I was driving to a concert with my brother, and my brother's always with me when these things happen, if you notice. But I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is crazy. And like to see her recognize it and to see her approve the cover, I'm like, I got Lacey's approval. That is the utmost compliment, because whenever you're covering another artist, you always, you know, want it, you always want it to sound good. You never want it to like be under theirs. Like you want it to be like at that same level. And
Right.
I have grown up also listening to Flyleaf when I was younger. Like that was what was on my MP3 player. I'm like dating myself right now by saying MP3 player, but that's what I was listening to. So for her to give that like stamp of approval, and then afterwards I was able to do a show with her, which was so
Heck
cool.
yeah.
So cool. At the
Heck
Brooklyn
yeah.
Monarch, we did a show together, and then after that, she even took it to the next level to invite me to Boardwalk Fest last year. So I was one of her guests at Boardwalk Fest.
Awesome.
But yeah, she showed so much love after that cover was released, and as well as so many other people. I feel like when we play that cover specifically at shows, that's the cover that, like, even if people don't know my songs, they hear that cover and they're like, oh, I know that one. So then they start listening, which is awesome. It's so cool.
What are some of your favorite covers?
Disease trying to get an exact date.
What are some of your favorite songs to cover?
Honestly, I feel like I cover a lot of songs, but most recently, I haven't put this out yet, but I'm going to be putting out a cover of Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter that we turned into like a rock version. I did a couple I did a couple on TikTok where, you know, I did Taste from Sabrina Carpenter. I did like a couple like pop ones, and people are like, "Oh my God, you know, turn that into rock, like do a full cover of it." So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Essentially, I was like, let me just go to the studio. Let's do it. And yeah, so Espresso is going to be coming out as a rock version, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other covers I did. I did some. I did some. You'll see on my channel, like Linkin Park, Emily Armstrong, such an incredible vocalist. Did a cover of "Heavy As the Crown" with Whitney. Yeah, I'm trying to think what other ones. Avril Lavigne, I did covers of. I try to do like different ones because, like I said, even if people don't know my music, I feel like a lot of the times, like if you cover another artist, they'll be like, "Oh, I like her version of that. Let me go look and see if she has other stuff." Like that's like one of the best ways to gain your audience is by covering other people and having their audience come to you and be like, "I actually like that."
Yep. So, speaking of, I know you mentioned a few musical influences, but other than Paramore, do you have any others?
I have been listening, like I said, to a lot of pop right now. So I've been listening to Zara Larsson. I've been listening to Tate McRae. Oh, what other ones? Honestly, in the world of rock, I've been listening to Butcher Babies because I was on that song with them, and that was so cool. Stitched Apart, they're amazing. Who else? I feel like I listen to a lot of just like different genres because I feel like if I listen to just like one genre, I'm not gonna get ideas. Like sometimes, like, oh, Rivals is incredible. Kaylee, incredible vocalist, was listening to a lot of them while I was writing my new stuff that you'll hear. But yeah, just a lot of just powerful females. Deadlands, Casey Carlson, come on, like she's awesome. Such a good person too. Like it's always nice listening to people and then actually like knowing them in person and being like, they're such a genuine human being. Like it's always so cool to be like, oh, they're so nice and like, and they kick ass too.
Heck yeah, I think for a long time people are afraid to approach artists, you know, especially, you know, growing up in my days, which I'm going to date myself. You know, you see guys like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and those guys, and you think they kick ass, and you're like, God, I could never talk to these guys. But when you sit down with musicians and you actually have conversations, you find out the humanity. We're all human. We all have the same dreams and desires and wishes, and you find some amazing people on this journey. And obviously, you know, you're one of them. You know, we've met so many amazing people on this journey. Speaking of favorites, speaking of amazing things, I got a threefold question.
Okay.
Robert and I ask this of all our guests. Favorite venue, dream venue, and who would you most love to open up for?
Okay, so my favorite venue, hands down, that I've performed at was the Ritz Theater in Pennsylvania when I was with Escape the Fate. Such a freaking cool venue. What was the next question? I already forgot.
Dream venue.
Dream venue. Dream venue is Mohegan Sun Arena. I feel like because I've always seen shows there, that would just be such a cool venue to play. I played the Wolf Den most recently, but the arena would just be like next level because I've just seen so many of my favorite artists there. And then what was the last one?
Who would you most love to open up for if you could?
Oh, God. That's so tough. I don't want to say Paramore because I feel like that's just like what I mean, it would be, honestly, it would be. But I've already opened up for Flyleaf. I feel like I would want to go on like a tour, like a package with like Spirit Box would be so sick. I guess we'll put Paramore in there. So Spirit Box, Paramore. This band called Stand Atlantic. I listen to them quite a lot, and they're so sick. And a band called Honey Revenge. They're also incredible. And I feel like maybe their fans would like me. Yeah, no, they're really, really good. But yeah, no, Spirit Box though would be like right here. I would love to open for them.
Heck yeah.
So, Gina, I know we're circling around a little bit, but I got a warning from your phone.
Yup.
Saying that your storage is low.
My storage is low. My phone is literally doing the same thing. I keep hitting like the OK button. I'm like, it keeps popping up. I'm like, no.
So, shoot.
I hate to cut it short, but what I would like to do from here is maybe play your new cycles.
Absolutely, yeah.
Audience.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Then we kind of, start working into a close, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
That way the recording is there for the audience, and we don't run into
damn low device storage. Come on.
That's an inside joke.
All right, so here we go. I'm gonna bring up share the screen with you guys. All right, disease.
Praying every day I see a sign. Lights outside my window, yeah, they're glowing. Hoping for a chance to make it right. Walking down a path unknowing that I'm too close to walk away. Try to leave, but always stay. What if my ending's tragic, lifeless inside my own casket? Everything I feel, it's so real. Running through bullets with no shield. Cut me open, bleeding. Cycles just keep repeating. Try to grab the wheel, I can't steer. How did I end up here? Laying down my life out on the line. Try to keep a hold of my emotions. Feeling like I'm running out of time. Vision going in and out of focus. I'm too close to walk away. Try to leave, but always stay. Everything I feel, it's so real. Running through bullets with no shield. Cut me open, bleeding. Cycles just keep repeating. Everything I feel, it's so real. Running through bullets with no shield. Try to grab the wheel, Running through bullets with no shield. Cut me open, bleeding. Cycles just keep repeating. Everything I feel, it's so real. Running through bullets with no shield. Try to grab the wheel, I can't steer. How did I end up here? How did I end up here? How did I end up here?
Woo.
Heck yeah.
Woo!
Heck yeah. Hell yeah.
We got Kermit the Frog joining us. Let's go.
That is great.
The audience cannot hear Disease or see the pictures that he's putting up. So I'll just go ahead and tell you, like, he's behind the scenes with a Kermit the Frog that talks. And he's also in all of our ears that you guys can't hear. But
Honestly, the Kermit the Frog voice, it's so accurate. It's crazy.
so,
Yeah, it's something to behold, I promise.
So,
Gina, before I go into the outro, would you tell the audience where they can find your music?
absolutely. You can find my music, Gina Fritz, all streaming platforms. You can follow me on social media at Gina Fritz CT, also everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Love you guys. Thank you immensely for streaming my music. And thank you guys for having me on and for having artists like myself who are smaller on this platform. I appreciate it so, so much.
Heck yeah, and I'm glad you came
Absolutely.
on.
We
enjoyed
appreciate
it.
you sharing with us.
Thank you.
So that being said, that's a wrap on today's episode of BSing with Y-Eagley-Y. Big love to Gina for hanging with us and sharing her sound and story. Y'all go check her out, support her music. And from all of us here at BSing with Y-Eagley-Y and Static Shift Radio, happy holidays. Wishing you good music, good laughs, and great times ahead.